This is the Ioniq 5 2024 SE standard range. It's about $40,000. And this is a Fisker Ocean Sport. It also goes for about $40,000.
Let me stop right here.
No!
When I made this video, this was true. But since then, Fisker has advertised to every media outlet on earth that the Fisker Ocean Sport is now $25,000. However, it doesn't exist. I proved that in a video, and yes, I took every avenue to find every ocean in the entire country, and I can prove it. So, the Fisker Ocean Sport just simply doesn't exist. There aren't any in the US, and they're not making any more either. And if I sound frustrated about this, well, would you be if you owned one? Let's continue.
Today we're going to drive them, we're going to find out about the dynamics, and we're also going to determine if the Ioniq 5 is still the champion of the CCS cars. Let's get into it.
Let's do 10 reasons to buy each one.
How about 10 differences? This was the premise of the original video. But first,
I'm Grant with Weimer Hyundai. I'm the sales manager.
I'm Cody with Weimer Hyundai. I'm the salesperson.
Yeah, so they've owned this dealership for just about 5 years, and so they have 6 dealerships spread out through Maryland and West Virginia.
We just started with the EV process, so it's a new learning curve, but the Ioniqs are great vehicles. I love Hyundai. They have Electrify of America that you can charge for 3 years complimentary. The Ioniq 5 is great for the space, great for the range. You get 220 miles on the standard battery. This one is rear-wheel drive. They do make them in all-wheel drive, which is nice.
So on top of you guys do real reasonable prices here, you guys are also doing 3 years Electrify America.
If you guys got any questions, we got 5, 6s, and we can get you any Ioniq you want. Cody's an expert on them.
Standard range, long range, rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, you guys got them all, right?
Got them all.
I cannot thank you
Thank
enough
you.
for doing
Thank
this
you.
for me and letting me test them. As far as recommending a CCS car, this is my recommendation right now. So I really want to see how this one stacks up, and hopefully it gives it enough of a challenge. But I can't thank you guys enough for doing this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cody gave me his card, which I will extend to you. Feel free to reach out to him if you have any questions about Hyundai or the Ioniq series vehicles. The goal of my channel is to help you, but I need your help on this one. So smash the like button for now and stick around to the end. I'll explain everything. Thanks in advance. So you catch me at the stoplight. I do have my stoplight recognition working, which is great. Let's just take a drive. I got to go into the country to see my family, so why don't you join me while I describe the Ocean. So 10 things, each car. And I purposely didn't ask for help from any of the sales staff about how the car works or where any of the stuff was. This video will be a stream of consciousness on me trying to figure out how it works and learning how to drive it in real time. And you can let me know in the comments if this style is beneficial. First, let's start with storage. You've got a nice big area right beside your driver's seat. The armrest does open up. It's kind of small, but it is there. Another cubby just beside your feet. And of course, you get the traditional glove box. Also, you'll notice here that the rear seat does recline. This is a feature on other Ocean trims, but not available on the Sport. Next, let's open the liftgate. The Ioniq 5 does have a nice amount of rear trunk space, but when we go to close the liftgate, we notice that it isn't a power liftgate. All trims of the Ocean do come with a power liftgate.
Okay, so that's a comfortable seating position for you. You are 6'1".
My son is 6'1", which makes him taller than me, so he's gonna sit behind himself.
How about leg room?
It's got sitting behind a 6'1" person. It's got great leg room right here.
You have enough, right?
I have enough.
So long road trip, this will be okay?
This would be all right. I would still,
You would still?
the other car is much better.
Straight from the source, the Ocean is better.
Ioniq has a start-stop button. And that's what your startup looks like. Okay, and then you've got 2 screens. It slides like this. This does have Apple CarPlay, but it is not wireless. So you're gonna be looking at this USB-A. I never turned on the stereo in the Ioniq 5, but I can still confidently say that the stereo is better. This might be the worst stereo in any modern car. My Toyota RAV4 blows it away as far as sound quality, fidelity, loudness, harshness, lack of vibration. It's just a poor stereo, and I just don't think they wanted to sell many of these in the first place, and the stereo was just something they had to put in, and they used the absolute cheapest parts available. The next thing I want to do is regen, and what I want is, okay, so these are drive modes. So it has Eco, Normal, and Sport, whereas the Ocean obviously has your Earth, Fun, and Hyper. But what I want to change is the regen. So let's see if we can figure out how to do that. All right, so this is EV mode. No! One thing I want to point out immediately when we go to EV mode is there should be an options menu up here, EV settings, and then utility, battery. So this has battery preconditioning mode. So you can enable this, which it's enabled now, and that will keep your battery preconditioned for fast charging kind of at all times. Now you're going to lose range doing that, but that's an extremely nice feature that the Ocean unfortunately does not have. Smart regen system. All right, we want sets the type of to auto, strong deceleration. I think smoothness is definitely a thing with EVs, so we want now this looks like regen. Oh, paddles. It let us know. Parking brake is set. Let's see, I've got a button over here, but let's see if I just put it into drive, do I have to worry about that? No, it goes off immediately. All right, now I'm in drive. This is when I can change it. So I was at level 1. All right, and then if I hit this right here, level 2, level 3, I pedal. So now we have one pedal driving, and I'm a one pedal guy, so that's where I'm going to keep it set because I already know what I want. Now the next thing let's do is adjust the climate. So this is our climate control, and what we want here is 82. I want auto, but I don't. Yeah, there we go. Now that once you hit auto, looks like auto has 3 levels. Let's do level 2 since I don't know what's really going on with that, but let's just do 70 degrees auto, and we're going to see how that works out. Navigation, let's check our charge. So they got this thing really nice and charged up for me. Another big thank you to Weimer Hyundai.
Both the Ocean and the Ioniq 5 have the digital rear view mirror, which you can help me identify the aggressive tailgater behind me now. We got the acceleration set on smooth. First test we can do right now is let's just do the turning radius. Just flip around right here. Really nice turning radius, exactly what you'd expect from just a regular gas car. Steering is a little heavy. The steering in the Ocean is heavy also. The steering wheel material, I would say the Ocean has it beat hands down on the material, but man, that one pedal driving is absolutely flawless. Acceleration is brisk. The delivery is smooth. The reason I mention this is because the Ocean tends to jump at high regen settings. So if I were to set the regen here to high, and then I try to decelerate, but then change the amount, like right here, for instance, it's not a good experience. In fact, it can cause dizziness and nausea, even as the driver.
The Ocean makes more spaceship noises, beeps and boops. This is lacking in the beeps and the boops.
Okay. As far as the cabin, this is quieter. The Ocean Sport has an advantage over the other Oceans because it has a solid piece of glass, but this has no sunroof, no nothing. So it has just one liner. So at 97%, it's telling me I have 213 miles of range, but the standard battery in here is significantly less range than the others. You can get up to 300 miles on the long range battery. So I'm taking this bumpy side on purpose. Well, there's a crater right there I had to dodge, but I thought that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
On the screens in the front, I will give the Hyundai credit. There is more information on this screen than it is in the Ocean, but the Ocean does tell you almost all this information in a smaller space. The Ocean is kind of perpetually night mode, and this one is white. Here's an interstate merge. Visibility is good, it's easy. The rear visibility in here is 9 out of 10. Let's set the cruise, we'll set the cruise control. This is excellent performance as far as the cruise control. And it's something you miss out on. You don't get this in the Ocean Sport unless you get the Max package or you opt for Intelligent Pilot.
And we all know now that none of that may ever happen.
There is some body roll to the suspension. It is not as stiff as the Model Y. It is not as soft as the Ocean. So if you want a good in-between, this is definitely that. I don't have any reservations about the horsepower. I don't have any complaints about it. It's not aggressive, but it's not too slow. And so far, I'm a pretty big fan of the regen. It's got a current trip meter in the bottom right, says 17 miles, that's here. Your power input is measured. In the Ocean, it is just 2 colors. You get red for acceleration and blue for regen. Let's change lanes here.
Okay, and then once we get into the lane, you get the steering wheel. Okay, now it's noticed there's a car in front. All right, here, there's a car pulling out. And yeah, it made the appropriate adjustment. That was good. We had a change in speed limit. Because of that, I needed to reconfirm with my accelerator pedal to continue with the driver assistance. And it is slowing down to the max speed right now. It's slowing down itself. I'm not doing that. And it's now set at the speed limit. And it's gone down to 55 for me. The red indication, that's gonna tell you if you're over or under. Right now we're over, so it's red. And then it goes back to 70. Looks like we had a change. It saw a 70-mile-an-hour sign. So now we're accelerating back to 70, which is really nice. I didn't have to make any changes or any inputs to the throttle for that. Almost nothing about this car exhibits to me that this is a sport utility, a crossover. Everything about the way this car drives, the way you feel when you're in it, the stance on the road, all of it feels like a car. If I make an adjustment to my throttle input while it's doing regen, I get no jerk at all.
If you end up with an Ocean Sport, and if you haven't gotten one yet, I don't recommend getting one, but if you have an Ocean Sport, it's going to be rare. So that's definitely a difference. The Ioniq 5 can be had in any trim level, from any place, pretty much any time.
Wind noise is acceptable for sure. It is not bad, it is not great. I think tire noise is very good. This is the smallest tire option, so a lot of comfort there. Obviously affordability there as well when you go to replace them. I think if you are okay with the look of a smaller wheel and tire, it is always best to go with the smaller wheel and tire for range and affordability. You're just gonna be happier with that. My favorite thing about the Sport is that it has 200 miles of range and a lithium iron phosphate battery. There's a Lucid Air. This vehicle doesn't. This vehicle has an NMC chemistry. Lithium iron phosphate, 200 miles of range is the sustainable way to get everybody on the EV transition. We're not having to dig up cobalt, we're not having to worry about massive thermal runaway events.
A disadvantage of the lithium iron phosphate is slower charging, and the charging is actually extremely good in the Ioniq 5. I routed a cross-country trip on a better route planner, and the Ioniq 5 beats the Model Y long range, which is impressive. So 200 and some kilowatts, probably around 230 maximum. If you get a good charger and a good charging session, the Ioniq 5 at 18 minutes from 10 to 80% is extremely hard to beat, and the LFP is not so great. It's road trip worthy, but just barely. You can watch the video here. But the TLDR is 10 to 80% in the Ocean takes about 35 minutes.
And if you haven't noticed, that's all 10 for both vehicles. Here's a breakdown so you can take a look at it. Feel free to hit the pause button. Lots more to learn, but if you're here for that, here they are. Let's continue.
On the highway, out of 10, I would definitely give the Ioniq 5 an 8. Tesla Model Y is a 9. I like the look of this car. I like the footprint, especially. Hyundai's been able to get the maximum amount of benefit for the driver out of the minimum footprint. I like the appointments a lot. This white interior, I really feel like it adds an aesthetic to it. This is also a white exterior, so it goes really well as a theme.
I think the Ioniq 5 is a good-looking car, both interior and exterior. However, I do think the Ocean is a better-looking vehicle. So if that does matter to you, that is definitely a thing. I think the Ocean wins as far as looks.
The mirrors are bigger on this than they are on the Fisker Ocean. I don't really think one or the other has a leg up there. Neither set of these are power fold. Because we're in the lowest trim, you don't get a power fold with either set of mirrors on the Ioniq 5 SE or the Fisker Ocean Sport. So I'm gonna cancel the cruise. Now here's that deceleration I'm talking about. So I'm completely off the pedal in iPedal mode and I want to make an adjustment. There's just absolutely no jerk there. The vehicle knows what I'm doing. It's responding to it. The response is gradual.
Since we're sitting here, the turn signal noise between this car and the Fisker,
it's all treble. And the Fisker's all about that bass. I'm gonna go ahead and put this into sport mode and it is immediately a different car. Throttle input is different. Throttle response is different. Steering input is hard. It's way different. Oh no, I'm still in cruise control. That's why. So if I want to turn this all the way off, I wonder what I do.
I had to look this up, and it's a 3-second hold to make this lane departure system turn off. I think there's also an option in the menu somewhere, and maybe if you set up a driver profile, you can make it so it doesn't turn on every time you start the car. But I don't own one, so Ioniq 5 owners, help me out in the comments. How do you disable the lane keep assist?
17 miles an hour to a stop. Yep, still need to do the brake pedal. So iPedal is not quite aggressive enough for a Tesla driver.
Might be one of the reasons that some people might want to use like either the normal or harder deceleration.
Oh no, well that's, yeah, we could go in and we can EV mode.
No!
Where was that? EV settings. Smart regeneration system. Let's do strong deceleration. All right, we are now in the strongest mode. I'm in sport mode, iPedal, strong deceleration, and we'll see what kind of reality we end up with here. We get the Ioniq, the Ioniq pixels everywhere, as well as the red theme. Yeah, it changes a little bit, and it's now torque. It says torque 0-100 instead of the 4.8 that we had previously. So you get that little difference there in sport mode. So if you want to feel a little sporty, the Hyundai is happy to oblige. This is a very long light and tough to make it through. Very big holes, holy holes. Wow. And we did not make it, so we have to wait another sequence. Okay, now that I have it in strong deceleration, it did right there exactly what I wanted it to do. So for Tesla people, my heavy regen people, strong deceleration is the setting to do. I'll try to determine by the end of this drive what the best setting is for the EV enthusiast. I think that the reason why these have so many different settings is because it all depends on what car you come from. If you're coming from a gasoline vehicle, some of the lower levels of regen are fine because you're used to the brake pedal input, and I believe the smooth deceleration might be really beneficial because the expectation is that smoothness. So as much as I don't like settings, the Tesla has it right. Chill and standard. That is correct. But for that to be correct, Tesla really had to nail it as far as the settings. If I were going to get a non-Tesla, non-Fisker EV, I would definitely recommend this. Do you like the inside of this thing?
I really enjoy the inside of this.
If we can get a little bit of the acceleration here, a little bit of an idea, that is much better. And then here's a good deceleration from 40 to a stop. Very nice. This lane centering is actively running right now. And it's getting upset at me because I'm dodging potholes because it's trying to keep me in the middle of the lane. It does have full tire PSI info, which is excellent. It has actual readings like the Tesla. Big kudos for that, heavy points for that. All right, this is all the way down. That's everything. That's really smooth. Nothing to write home about. I do feel like there was a little bit more power there. All right, blinker on, cruise control off. iPedal now goes back to on. And then I'm gonna completely release, and then I wanna change the frequency. And it's just as smooth as butter. Just under 40 miles an hour, do the release. And I wanna change. Yeah, totally smooth. Even in the most aggressive setting, the regen is really smooth. The delivery is smooth. It's really nice. Well, there was a big bump that I got to go over, and yeah, A+. I felt sturdy. I didn't feel like I bottomed out.
And if you stuck around to see how you could help, I sincerely appreciate it. This video features a non-Fisker vehicle. And for most channels, that's no big deal. But it's a big change for me. And the YouTube algorithm, let's just say, doesn't love change. So, if you can, and I appreciate it more than you know, share this video with your audience. Or email it to a fellow EV owner to get their take on how I delivered the content. I need to build a new format for all the vehicles I intend on reviewing. And I thought starting with a comparison to my own car up against basically the best CCS competition,
would be a good start. I built this channel on your feedback, and I'm sticking to that commitment. Let me know what vehicles you want me to review and what information you want in those reviews. And I know this next one is a big ask. If you have an EV, 2020 or newer, email me at adamsevreviews@yahoo.com and let's review it together. You can share your experience with me, or you can make your car the star. I want to remain non-sponsored on this channel to provide maximum objectivity, so I'd rather share your small business or whatever you'd like to share with my audience instead. So if you live in the eastern United States, or if you have something rare and just live in the United States at all, email me. Can I review your car? And of course, I'll come to you if necessary. Your support, from just sticking around to watch, to leaving a comment to help me improve my reviews or provide accurate information, or joining Patreon or becoming a YouTube member, has been extremely helpful, and it has changed my life. And if this is your first time here, subscribe for more. Check out a 10 to 80% charge test on the Ocean here, or
the Model 3
Refresh. I took a test drive. And somewhere over here is what I'm currently up to. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey, smash the like button.
Thank you.